My wife overheard the worst thing I've ever said. Now I'll never see her again. Except she actually did see me again, and it wasn't pretty. I'll be honest, I wasn't a perfect husband. But I never thought one overheard conversation would destroy my life. And certainly not in the way it did. I'm David, 36, a small business owner from Colorado. I'd been married to Lindsay for nearly 9 years. We started off like a dream, young, broke, in love. But as the years passed, she started wanting more. More vacations, more jewelry, more status. At first, I thought it was just ambition. But later, I'd learn it was greed, masked as love. I provided everything. Built a marketing firm from the ground up, worked 60-hour weeks, missed birthdays, anniversaries, and even my father's funeral to land big clients. And she stayed home. She called herself a lifestyle manager. But really, she just scrolled Instagram, shopped online, and flirted with guys at her yoga class. I ignored the signs for years. Now, about that worst thing I ever said. A few months ago, I was at a bar with my old buddy, Ryan. A few drinks in, we started talking about our lives. He asked about Lindsay, whether I thought she was really in it for love anymore. And I, stupidly, bitterly said, "Man, if she got hit by a bus tomorrow, I'd probably get my life back." It was a cruel joke, one I didn't mean. I was drunk, tired, and venting. But unknown to me, Lindsay had followed me that night. I'd left my phone at home, and she got suspicious. She drove to the bar, parked in the back alley to avoid being seen, and walked around the side entrance. She heard every word I said. I found out 2 days later when I came home to an empty house. Furniture? Gone. Jewelry? Gone. My grandmother's watch? Gone. Even the dog. She left a note on the fridge with just 4 words. "You got your wish." Then she vanished. No calls. No messages. Her number blocked me. Her family ignored me. Divorce papers came in a week later through a lawyer who clearly cost more than I ever earned in a month. She took everything. I mean everything. But here's the thing. She didn't just leave. She weaponized that one sentence and used it to destroy my reputation. She told everyone, friends, family, and even my clients, that I wished her dead. She spun it into emotional abuse. Claimed I'd said worse behind closed doors. She posted cryptic Instagram stories that painted me as a monster. I lost 2 major clients that same week. My business started bleeding. For months, I did nothing. I took the hits, blamed myself, lived with guilt. But then, one day, I got a DM from an anonymous Instagram account. The message simply said, "She's not grieving. She's celebrating. Check this out." Attached was a photo of Lindsay, laughing, drink in hand, in Cabo, 3 days after the incident. She was in a luxury resort, cozy with a guy I'd never seen before. My jaw dropped. The girl who told the world she was emotionally shattered was sipping piña coladas with some rich-looking douche in swim trunks. That's when the switch flipped. I had spent the last few months broke, depressed, living in a 1-bedroom rental while she played victim and vacationed off my money. I realized something vital. I didn't ruin this marriage. I just finally said out loud what I'd buried for years. And now, it was my turn to bury her reputation. After that photo from Cabo, I stopped being the guy who cried over a woman who used me. I started digging. And what I found would become the fire that burned everything she built. First, I traced the guy in the photo. His name was Grant McAllister. Wealthy, mid-40s, a recently divorced hedge fund guy from Scottsdale. Public records showed a fat settlement from his ex-wife and a sudden interest in luxury resorts and healing retreats. Lindsay met him at a trauma wellness seminar in LA a month before our divorce. Apparently, playing the part of the heartbroken trophy wife worked wonders. She had spun my stupid, drunken line into a full-on sympathy campaign. Told people I was emotionally manipulative, made her feel unsafe. What she didn't say was how she was already moving money from our joint account 2 weeks before that night. I pulled old statements. She'd been slowly bleeding us dry for months, stashing it in a separate investment account under her sister's name. Now, I'm no hacker, but I know a few people in IT. Ryan, yes, the same guy I was venting to that night, offered to help. He used to work in cybersecurity. Within a week, he had copies of Lindsay's cloud backup. Emails, calendar invites, messages. That's when I hit gold. Lindsay had been planning the split before she ever overheard me. She was setting me up to look like the villain. Even that night, she followed me on purpose. She wanted dirt. When I said that horrible line, it was like I handed her a loaded weapon. She didn't leave because she was hurt. She left because her story was complete. And so, I began my quiet revenge. Step 1 was getting back in touch with her inner circle. Some of our old mutual friends were still following her on socials, though they stopped talking to me. I reached out to one of them, Mallory, kind, reasonable, always skeptical. I didn't beg. I just said, "Before you completely hate me, let me show you something." I shared screenshots. Lindsay's emails to her sister about hiding funds, vacation plans with Grant while our divorce was still pending, and even one message that said, "If David ever fights back, I'll just drop the emotional abuse bomb. Who's gonna believe him anyway?" That message spread like wildfire. Quietly, but effectively. Step 2 was business. 2 of my clients had dropped me because of what they heard, not what they knew. I invited them out, bought them drinks, and showed them proof. Not just that I didn't say worse things, but that she had deliberately targeted them with gossip. I got one client back. The other? Well, he asked me if I wanted to do marketing work for his new startup. "Looks like you've had enough personal branding experience," he joked. But the final blow was public. Remember Grant? Turns out his ex-wife was very interested in the idea that he was spending her alimony on a woman who wasn't exactly single when they met. I sent her everything. Photos, messages, timelines. No message back. But 2 days later, Lindsay's Instagram was wiped clean. Private. And then I got the call. It was her. "Why are you doing this to me?" she snapped. I smiled. "You already got your wish, remember?" She cursed. Threatened lawyers. Said I was stalking her. I laughed. "You weaponized a sentence. I'm just showing people your actions." She hung up. But it wasn't over. Because I knew where she'd be the following week. And when I showed up at that gala, dressed sharp, with her ex-friend Mallory on my arm, let's just say, it wasn't pretty. The gala was a fundraiser hosted by one of our old mutual friends. One of the few connections Lindsay hadn't managed to poison against me. I knew she'd be there, of course. She loved anything that involved cameras, cocktails, and rich people pretending to care. But this time, she wasn't the star of the show. I didn't come alone. Mallory stood beside me, stunning in a black dress, looking like something out of a revenge movie. She'd become my closest ally through all of this. Not because we were trying to make Lindsay jealous, but because Mallory had also been burned by her. She'd lent Lindsay money once, $5,000, never got it back, and was told to let it go. So when she found out how deep Lindsay's manipulation went, she flipped. As soon as we entered, heads turned. I wasn't used to being the center of attention, but that night, I let it happen. Lindsay spotted us almost immediately, and her jaw nearly unhinged. She looked flawless as always, dressed like she owned the place. But for the first time, her smile wasn't confident. It was nervous. She approached. "Alone. What the hell are you doing here?" she hissed through her teeth. I took a sip of my drink. "Just supporting a good cause. You know how much I care about animals." I smiled, though I never expected to see a snake in public. Her eyes narrowed. "You're obsessed. This isn't healthy." "No," Mallory cut in sharply. "What's not healthy is faking abuse, lying to your friends, and bleeding your husband's business dry while you vacation with some hedge fund clown." People were watching now. A few stepped closer, pretending not to eavesdrop. Lindsay's mask started to crack. She tugged at my sleeve. "Let's talk outside." Now. So we stepped out. Alone. Or so she thought. I had already tipped off a blogger, one who loved exposing local scandals, and had once written glowingly about Lindsay's philanthropy. She stood not far away, phone ready, pretending to check messages. Lindsay exploded. "I know what you're doing," she hissed. "Sending my texts around? Messaging Grant's ex? Are you trying to ruin my life?" "No," I said coolly. "You ruined your own life. I just handed people the truth. You're pathetic. And you're greedy. You pretended to be broken just to cash out on sympathy and settlements. But here's the thing. You overplayed your hand." She paused. "You think anyone's going to believe you? You said you wished I was dead." I said it once. In private. Drunk. You've acted like I was dead for months. Until now. She lunged at me, shoving me in the chest. It wasn't violent, more desperate than anything. That was all the blogger needed. Snap. 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 The next morning, the photos were everywhere. The headline? Phony philanthropist? Local socialite loses temper at gala. Ex-husband exposes web of lies. The article included receipts, literally. Screenshots of emails, texts, timeline gaps. It didn't paint me as perfect, but it painted her as a calculated fraud. The fallout came quick. Grant dumped her, publicly. Her influencer deals? Gone. That luxury apartment in LA? Turns out it was under Grant's name. She was out in a week. The final nail? She tried to sue me for defamation. But when the court reviewed the evidence, the judge dismissed it with prejudice. Instead, she got hit with a counterclaim for fraud and financial misconduct during the divorce. She had to return a portion of the settlement and pay a penalty. Now, she's back in Colorado, living with her mother. Off social media. The yoga friends are gone. No more brand deals, no more beachside cocktails. As for me, I rebuilt. Got new clients, moved to a new city. Still talk to Mallory. We're taking things slow, but there's something real there. Something honest. And Lindsay? Well, she did see me again. but not as the broken man she tried to erase. She saw me as the man who survived her and made damn sure the world saw the truth. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.